atomic level. We won't stay there too long, but what we do want to notice is that processed, canned, and GMO, or genetically modified organisms have extremely low vibrational frequency. They're actually 0. So they actually bring your energy down. When you look at other things that have low or no energy, chicken and steak, 0 to 2 megahertz of energy. And the reason is because our body has to take that fibrous tissue and liquefy it. It takes a lot of energy from us. If you think of a blender, it's constantly making something liquid, and how hard it has to work, your body's working that hard to break those things down into that particular substance so that your intestines can use it. But either way, it's still really low in the vibrational frequency. A healthy human gives off 62 to 68 megahertz of energy. And then when you look at what raises your vibrational frequency, so if you meet somebody, you can tell they have high energy. You've probably heard of that phrase, like, oh, they have a lot of energy. You can tell they're spunky or something like that. Well, green foods like kale, collard greens, chard, those things are really high in vibrational frequency, 70 to 90 megahertz of energy. What's some of the highest is green juices and spirulina, or chlorella is also another thing. So those are really high. Like, I've actually taken a scoop of spirulina. It's really green, and when you look at the actual scoop, it almost has, like, if you've ever rubbed a balloon on your hair, and not me now, but like in the past when I had hair, your hair kind of sticks up like that. That's what's happening to that spoon on the spirulina. It literally has like all this energy coming from it, and it's so cool. But that's what's giving you energy. Anytime you heat treat anything or cook it, it kills all the energy. So it really destroys that. And has anyone heard of the Oxford and Cornell China study? Anybody? Okay, so if not, this is the first time. And it said right here, it summarizes it, a 95% or more plant-based diet correlated to extremely low cancer, heart disease, and autoimmune disease rates. Autoimmune includes things like arthritis, multiple sclerosis, hypothyroid, which is really big with women. So there's a lot of things that we look at what are affecting our quality of life as Americans or taking us out of the game, like my parents. And so when we eat this 95% or more plant-based, we're dramatically reducing our risk, and that is really important. So that kind of summarizes everything there. Problem number 3 is lack of sleep. Anybody have lack of sleep? Okay, all right. All right, so this is important to note here. All disease is related to deficiency or toxicity. So when you look at everything like that, worsening sleep quality and sleep duration are associated with a greater buildup of amyloid beta, which is a protein in the brain. So if you think of the TV show Hoarders, you know, there's a lot of clothes everywhere. You're like, hey, go find your shoes. They'd be like, which pile of clothes, where? Right, so it's like that with our brain. This buildup of protein makes it hard for us to recall things over time because there's just so much junk around, basically. But the failure of the brain's ability to keep its house clean by clearing away waste like amyloid beta may contribute to the development of conditions like Alzheimer's. So if you know somebody that has Alzheimer's or heard of it before, basically it's a trouble recalling things or trouble with memory. And it doesn't start when you're in your 60s. That's when people see it, but it starts when you're anywhere from 15 to 30 years old. That's when it starts. And so it's one of those things where the earlier you catch it and the earlier you can take better your health, the better. But some natural solutions are developing a nightly routine and getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Anybody getting 7 to 9? Okay, I'm gonna put that hand back down. All right, so, okay, close, yeah, okay, consistently? Sometimes, okay, all right, so writing, this is what helps me, writing down your thoughts in a planner to help calm the mind chatter. That's really big, because sometimes I'll be like, I gotta think of this, I gotta hold on to it, I get it out. You should see my planner, it's like full of like stuff, of writing, of all of my to-do lists. Another good thing is trace minerals. Anybody heard of trace minerals before? Okay, so every function in the body, that includes all the functions in the brain, waking up, going to sleep, needs minerals, but almost everyone is nutrient deficient. And that's because our soils are very depleted. If it's not in the plant, or excuse me, if it's not in the soil, it's not in the plant. If it's not in the plant, it's not in your body when you eat it, and it's not in the soil. So what happens is that our body becomes deficient. You probably heard of things like, if you don't get enough vitamin C, you can get scurvy, or if you don't get other certain nutrients, you can get these deficiency issues. So you haven't heard of scurvy because we get enough vitamin C, but
I just thought it was funny that that's what you referenced.
Okay, yeah. But fulvic acid is the most bioavailable form of nutrients, meaning the most absorbable. And so fulvic acid, but rocks are really low. You think rocks are low to the ground? rocks are also very low in absorption, but that's what most trace minerals are made of. And so we want something that's organic and colloidal. Colloidal means that the plant takes it from the ground, it metabolizes it so that you can have it and absorb it better. You've probably heard the saying, you are what you eat, but the real saying should be, you are what you absorb. So absorption is way more important than actually just getting it in the body. The next thing that really helps is lavender, marjoram, and Roman chamomile. So those are some things, whether it's a tea or an oil, that can really help with sleep. All right, so I will move on to the next page, the next slide. You can see page 2 here. The next one is problem number 4, digestive upset. Anybody experienced digestive issues before? No, everyone's good? Oh, okay. Either nobody or everybody. Okay, so 90% of modern diseases are due to colon problems, according to Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. And he lived to be 91 years old. So I don't know if you know anybody that's been able to live 91, but he's done his research. And a lot of synthetic solutions, if you've seen, manage the symptoms. They don't address the root cause. They have side effects. You've probably seen the commercials on TV. And then they lead to resistance buildup. So you need more and more just to get the same result. So that is what synthetic is just another word for man-made. But some natural solutions that really have helped my digestion are plant-based fiber. What does plant-based fiber do? It pushes the bulk out. It helps remove toxins from your body and reduces plaque in your arteries. Plaque is the buildup of cholesterol, basically, from foods that we eat, specifically like animal products. And that helps to clear out. And then there's digestive enzymes, which break down proteins, fats, and carbs for better absorption. Any food that's cooked above 116 degrees, it kills all the enzymes. So anything that's cooked is basically dead food. It's dead because there's nothing living in it anymore, and there's no enzymes. That's why you want at least 60 to 80% raw plant foods with every meal, ideally, so that your body's not having to pull from organs to break down the food. Because studies show that you only have about 30 years of enzymes in your body. That's why they do a lot of like advertising for old folks or more senior people for like all those fiber, supplements. So that's an interesting thing. Prebiotics are what feed the probiotics. It's kind of like their food source, and that helps make sure they stay alive. Probiotics are basically it nourishes your gut flora with good bacteria, which release B vitamins. Because we hear like sometimes, oh, good bacteria versus bad bacteria. Why is good bacteria called that? Because they release B vitamins. Bad bacteria releases toxins that make us sick. And then the last things are peppermint, ginger, or fennel. Those are really good for any type of digestion issues. These things have helped me out tremendously, and I can say now I'm very regular, which is good, and then I don't have any abdominal issues as well. So whether it's that time of the month, whether it's that food you ate, or that issue, whatever, this is really some really good stuff for that. All right, then number 5, and the last issue, at least on this list, is unhealthy weight. So processed foods we were talking about before destroy your endocrine system. So your endocrine system consists of your hormone regulating glands that stimulate your metabolism, reproduction, your blood pressure, and your appetite. So they control a lot of things. And you can see here on this little pie chart, maybe a little hard to see, but processed foods in the standard American diet make up 63% of what people eat. So that processed foods is contributing to the endocrine system destruction. Next, you have animal foods, which are contributing to 25% of what we eat. Anything above 20% increases your risk of particular heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune, if you remember the other page. And then only 12% of the standard American diet of normal everyday people is eating plant foods. So it should really be pretty much the opposite. It should be like everything else being plant, ideally 95%. But this is what's causing a lot of the chronic health issues in our diet, in our society. All right, so the natural solution is not focused on, you see some traditional solutions here are diets, fads, overhyped supplement claims, probably heard those, or over-exercising. See also New Year's resolutions, right? But what's really should be focused is nutrient density. Nutrient density means it's really low calorie, but really high in nutrients. And then what's the most nutrient dense is greens. So 3 to 6 servings, that includes the collard greens, the kale, the chard, the spinach. And then vegetables are the next thing, so that's 3 to 4 servings. And I do a lot of sweet potato, I do a lot of other vegetables like broccoli or onions and mushrooms and stuff like that in sauteed dishes. Fruits are 2 to 3 servings, so that's apples, bananas, orange, berries, stuff like that. Legumes or beans, those are really, really good, so that's 1 to 2 servings. Whole grains, like a brown rice or even black rice,